Good evening, friends and family, and thank you for coming to another night with Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities. And tonight we have another gem in our community that we have invited to be on our show tonight, and it's Alan Hood. And Alan Hood is an alumni and currently an ambassador and longtime supporter of Malcolm X College. And I met Mr. Hood at the Kwanzaa event this year, which I'm so happy to see that it has been regenerated and occurred every night, every day, all 7 days of the Kwanzaa event. And I believe that he has a lot to do with this. And I want to thank you for taking time, Alan, to be on our show tonight. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. And as you know, we're a nonprofit organization and we are great supporters of our bookstores here in Chicago. And being an historian and having spent so much time at Malcolm X, I'm certain you are familiar with the number of bookstores that we once had here in Chicago. We had over 20 bookstores, Black owned bookstores here in Chicago. And that number dwindled down quite substantially, but there has been a resurgence of Black bookstores here in Chicago. And we have them listed on our website at rrgbc.org. And we want you to support those bookstores because there's a lot of knowledge in books. Our history is in books. And so we really emphasize supporting our bookstores here in Chicago. And we choose a bookstore every month to feature on our website. And this month, it is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, bookstore that we still have here. And that is the Underground Bookstore, which is located at 1727 East 87th Street here in Chicago. And Brother Yoel is the proprietor of that bookstore. And he was actually on our podcast not too long ago and talked a lot about the importance of supporting our bookstores and reading. And we go a step further. We have a book giveaway, and we allow the bookstore of the month to select the book. And all you have to do in order to win a copy of that book is subscribe. Go to rrgbc.org and subscribe, and you could possibly become a winner for our book of the month. And the book that he selected for this month is Abolition for the People. And this is by Colin Kaepernick. Now, Colin Kaepernick is the basketball player that, okay, we'll lose your voice. We don't have,
Football player.
yeah, he
Copeland,
was a
he's a
football
foot.
player.
Yeah, that's
That's
all
right.
I want to say.
Yeah, that's right. He was a football player. And he didn't write this book, but he compiled the information. And it's a collection of essays and interviews and reflections from over 30 activists. And he talks about safety is created by communities, it's not enforced via punishment. And so, if you want to win a copy of that book, we ask that you go to rrgbc.org and subscribe. We pay for the book. We prefer that you go and visit the Underground Bookstore and see. He has a plethora of readings there. A lot of people who have estate sales turn their books over to Brother Yoel. So he really has a substantial amount of books there. And so we prefer, if you win this book, that you go to the Underground Bookstore and pick it up, and we will pay for it. But if you can't, we will also pay for the shipping of that book to you. That's how important we feel it is for reading. And then we also support the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. They are a Black financial banking institution. They're located at 5401 South Wentworth. And they have been in our community also for over 20 years, providing financial literacy information. They have classes on Saturdays, and they have all types of products to offer to our community in terms of personal loans, micro business loans. You can set up a youth account as young as 7 years old up to age 17. You can establish a youth account there. They have a savings and checking for business, for personal purposes, car loans, and payday loans in lieu of these high interest payday loans that are out here today because they're interested in the community and they're interested in you. And so we ask that you please support the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. In order for a banking institution to stay in business, they need us to open up accounts. So we have our dollars sitting in a lot of banks here in Chicago, and many of those banks do not give the return to our communities that we should be getting. So please support the Southside Community Federal Credit Union by opening up an account. And then also you can go to our website at rrgbc.org where you can donate to help us with the work that we're doing. We host this podcast every week. Typically, we have a business on this podcast because we want you to support Black businesses. In order for our communities to thrive, we need those dollars circulating in our communities. And we have a lot of people with businesses in our communities that do not live in our communities, and those dollars are going out every day. And so that's why we host this podcast. We have helped some businesses stay afloat. We have helped some businesses develop websites. So we do what we can to help. Everybody can do something. There's so much that we need done in our communities. And so everybody can play a role here. This is what we're doing. It's just some of the things that we're doing here at Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities. So let's get to our guest tonight, Brother Allen. Uh, Brother Allen, I do know from my early conversation with you, you did tell me that you are originally from the West Side of Chicago. And so I would like for you to give our audience a little history about who you are. We're going to talk about Malcolm X. We're going to talk about Crane Junior College. But prior to that, who is Allen or who was Allen Hood?
Um, Actually, technically, I was born on the South Side.
Ah,
I was born 3635 Giles, and I went to Raymond. 5131 South came in, I went to Burke. 5636 Mission, I went to Carter. 673 East 38th Place, I went to Oakland Wall. By the time I was 11, I was the first of my generation, relatives and stuff, to move to the West Side. I moved in
mm,
the Abla Projects. They called it the 16 stories, all three of those buildings. They came up in 61, 1239 building in May, and June was the 1209 building on Racine, and the 1111 building was on Roosevelt Road on May Street. So
hmm.
those three buildings, I grew up in. This grammar school right across the street was John M. Smith School, where I attended and graduated from grammar school. And then I went to Crane High School. I'm from Crane High School to Crane Junior College, and then I was part of student government that helped change it from Crane Junior College to Malcolm X College.
Now,
And
I
yes,
want to ask you a question here because, okay, I'm originally from the West Side. I grew up on the West Side.
hmm
And I
hmm
remember Crane High School. I never
correct.
knew that there was a junior college there.
Yeah, it's the oldest.
And
It's the oldest. It's the
this
oldest.
was the city
hmm
college, right?
Right, City College, 2-year college. It started in 1911, and
Okay.
called Crane Junior College. 1911 was and it didn't change. We didn't change the name from Crane Junior College to Malcolm X College till January of 1969. Actually, we did it in 67, 68, but City College didn't accept us being Malcolm X College until January 1969. They wanted to give us the name Westside Community College. That's
So
what they
while
wanted
you
to name.
were at, so while it was at Crane Junior College, what types of programs were there?
We had the nursing program, same kind of programs we got now, just more
Okay.
more advanced, more of it because um, in January '69 when we changed the name, we were at one spot was on Garfield Grammar School. What happened? Let me do it this way. We got Dr. Hurst in 1967. He didn't want us to be sharing the building, which was
Now, who was Dr.
2245.
Hurst?
That was the first president of Malcolm X College.
Okay.
We got him from Howard University, PhD in communication and speech, 39 years old.
Okay.
Uh, and we got him to be our first president. We wanted to use a lady named Barbara King. She's, but she said the first president of the college she thinks should be a man. So,
Okay.
but she's a great, great lady, still is today. And see what happened. The Crane Junior College, Crane High School is 2245 West Jackson. Well,
Right.
on the Van Buren side, the right behind
Hmm.
Jackson is Van Buren, and the junior college was there.
Okay.
That's where they were studying at. So we shared the same cafeteria with the high school students and the junior college students together. And he didn't want us to be sharing high school with a junior college. So they made a decision to get two campuses, use a yellow shuttle bus to run us back and forth as students. One was called Denmark Vesey Building. That was on 14th and Newberry. We used the old grammar school called Garfield Grammar School as one of our facilities, the A building. Then we had a B building, 1757 West Harrison. We call it Nat Turner Building. That was situated right on Wood Street, separates Presbyterian St. Luke's and Cook County Hospital. Just that Wood Street separated. So
Hmm.
our students could study the nursing, physician assistants, all the different programs, radiology, dialysis, all that, and go right across the street and do their clinicals. So that, we took over Cook County Hospital in Presbyterian, the students. We started with 2,500 students that left from Crane Junior College, and we ended up in the new building, 1900 West Van Buren, uh, with 8,000 students. And that building, we came and walked across the Ogden Bridge, where the CTA is, the Ogden Bridge.
Yes.
Uh, we walked across the Ogden Bridge, about maybe five or 600 of us, and we went to the new building. We had confiscated that new building. That building was like worth $15 million, and Governor Ogilvy, who was the governor at the time, he gave us $3.4 million for stuff inside the facility. And we had a Plato program, we had the radiology, the dialysis, all the machinery came there. In fact, other city colleges had to come to Malcolm X College in order to use the different facilities that we had. Because the city colleges, is one bulk of money, but all the schools couldn't have it. So they had to come to Malcolm X College and use a lot of our facilities.
So what percentage of the students were black,
Then
you
we
say?
always, since its conception of Malcolm X College, we had Africans, we had Hispanics, we had Asians, we had all nationalities with that, even with the instructors, even with the teachers. And in '69, I was a part of interviewing the instructors that were coming to work at Malcolm X College, all the teachers, and it was fantastic. We had great instructors, but I can say about 70% of the instructors that came were black, and
Now,
yes, and a lot of them came from down south.
now you mentioned some well-known people that came
Oh
there.
yeah, oh yeah,
Can you
oh yeah.
talk about some of those? Tell us about some of those people.
Oscar Brown Jr. Was the drama instructor and gave plays and different things. Phil Coran was the musical instructor. He made our school song. Just give you a little bit of it. We
Okay.
come to Malcolm X to find our way, to make a future for a better day. We once were the slaves of an ancient empire. Now we must prove from the slave makers' fire. We come to Malcolm X to find a way. Malcolm X, Malcolm X. And
All
the book that
right.
we had to read, as new students came in, they had to read the autobiography of Malcolm X, which I did at 19 years old. And
Mm-hmm.
never was the same. We had great instructors, great instructors. Phil Coran, like I said, he was over the music department. All these are giants. I could think of all of them. We got pictures. In fact, I got the picture of a majority of the only hardback Malcolm X book that we had. This is done by the students in 1974. And we got the pictures of all the instructors, of the students, the daycare center we had with the children dressed up in different outfits and stuff. But just let me, I was telling you just a moment ago,
Mm-hmm.
this is the pictures how the students were dressed back then, and the different entertainers that came. That's the Andre Crouch and his and Sandra Cross and all that, and it was just fantastic. And then we had pictures of the children, as you can see them from the daycare center. We dressed them up. We had
Okay.
dance studio. We just had a lot of different things. And this is 1974. We at that time we had been Malcolm X College for about 5 years. Yeah, 5 years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned Dick. You mentioned Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory. He's in the
Uh,
book. He's right in the front. He's right in the front.
Now,
Dick
did he
Gregory.
did he
He's
teach a class there?
they had a class called Institutional Racism, and Jesse
Mhm.
Jackson taught a class there. Dr.
Okay.
Hurst taught a class there. Dick Gregory taught a class there. Uh, and what's her name? And Angela Davis, Bill Cosby. Well, it was the place to be because Malcolm X had his name before Kennedy King, Olive Harvey, Daley, before all of them. And his
Hmm.
birthday, like I said, is 1911. And even though my name is Alan Hood, but everybody knows me as Brotherhood. That's what they've always called me all my life. And then when I went in the Nation of Islam when I was like 21 years old, Elijah Muhammad gave me the name Brother Bia, Muhammad Bia. So Muhammad means praiseworthy and Bia. And I was a counselor at Malcolm X College when I went in the Nation of Islam. Admission counselor is what I was. So then I was made a lieutenant in the Nation of Islam. I did my thing. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was a good experience. And how I got involved in it because after I read out about with Malcolm X, I was just talking to one of the teachers today um, at a daycare, and she was saying about Martin Luther King. She got the children playing different for W. Du Bois, for Black History coming up February 27th for her class.
Hmm.
And I made a statement to her, really threw her off. She said, she wanted my son to pay Martin Luther King. I said, you got a Frederick Douglass? You got it. I said, then I asked the question, you got a Malcolm X? She said, no, we don't have a Malcolm X yet. I said, well, Malcolm X helped make Martin Luther King. She said, what?
Hmm.
I said, yeah, she helped him. I said, I grew up in the time element. I know who Martin Luther King was. I know
Hmm.
he was 25, but he wasn't a neighborhood kid. Hal Washington wasn't a neighborhood kid. No, those people that's elite, they were neighborhood kids. I'm interested in the neighborhood kids that grew up in the projects, off the
Hmm.
streets, who had alcohol mothers, dope fiend fathers. I was in grammar school with them. I taught grammar school. Community rep for the local school counts too, as well as that. And I did business. When I first graduated from Malcolm, May 11, 1971, I opened my clothing store on the first floor of Malcolm X College. First bookstore they had.
Now,
I
you
called it the
were a
Malcolm.
member
Yes,
of the first graduating class.
that is correct. That is
Okay.
correct. Plus, I had been in the Panther Party and all those different things prior to that, doing the intro, just developing like young kids try to find their way, trying to find their way. I'm a kid off the block. I
Hmm.
needed to know. I heard things about the Nation of Islam killed Malcolm X, so I didn't just go by that. I went to find out for myself,
Hmm.
and I did. So it helped me tremendously. And like you was talking about the education and reading books, Malcolm said, education is the passport to the future, and tomorrow belongs to those people who prepare themselves today. It's like a passport. You got to have a passport now. You should be your birth certificate, but get on the plane now. You got to have a passport.
That's right.
So he was way ahead of his time, and didn't mean that I didn't love Martin Luther King I come up there. He got killed when I graduated from high school, April the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Malcolm, just last year of 25, May the 19th, he made 100 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them passed at 39 and 40 years old. So, but they gave their lives. They knew leadership is blood, tears, hard times. But somebody got to stick their foot in the door. That's how I got Kwanzaa back. They hadn't had Kwanzaa since 2015.
That's right.
And I talked to the
That's right.
president of the college. He wanted me to be a ambassador, and he wanted me to write a book on Malcolm X College. I told him what I wanted. I told him I wanted 7 days of Kwanzaa, and I wanted an Afro-Cuban dance studio in the building, like we had in the other building, in the old building. He
Mm-hmm.
agreed with that. I sit in the office when he talked to the chancellor. I told him that he's going to give me Mr. Hood Kwanzaa $50,000. He said, Chancellor told him, hey, that's your budget, President. You do what you want to do. But when it got down to the nitty gritty, he put 20 different people in the committee to deal with this. It came from 50 down to 35. I didn't have no problem with that because I got my foot in the door.
Right.
That's all that counts. There's sacrifice. There's things that has to be done. You know, I raised what, 6 children, 3 boys and 3 girls. Then now I'm raising 4 more. I got 5 boys and 5 girls. I knew when I was dealing with it, it was a sacrifice. I didn't have a job. When a clothing store at Malcolm, I stayed there for 15 years. I ain't pay no light, no gas, no rent, and no damn taxes. I can say it now. Yeah. I didn't keep no records. But I've been in my house 25 years, my building 30 years, my lot 20 years. Blessed. Grandson, November 18, made 32 from Howard University. The other one, 26 from UIC. The other one, 24 from University of Southern California. The other one from Harvard. He just made 23 June the 8th. The girls, March of 28, made 29 from Georgia Tech. The other one came out of Stanford. She made 29 August the 29th. Two little ones, October the 7th, made 9, and November 12th made 10. I'm blessed. I'm fortunate. I'm grateful, but it was a sacrifice being made. I was home with my children. And I didn't want to work. I worked hard, but I worked for myself. That's the business part. And I wanted to say to your audience, young people, you're young, 19, 18, you're brilliant. You're not lightweight, you're brilliant. You
Mm-hmm.
all that knowledge and information, all that stuff you got in your head, go on and work with it. Don't be afraid. Fear is a killer. You have no fear but with God. Everything else is secondary. You are successful. Don't let other people try to put you down or tell you this, tell you that. She was making a mention, we was talking earlier about business and young
Mm-hmm.
folks opened up business, or people opened up business. They would
Yes.
say all kind of things. I was in the newspapers, all that kind of stuff. But I always looked at it. If I was an Italian boy, if I was a Jew boy, if I was in, I got Clement Stone, multimillionaire, all them asking me jobs. But I was involved with what I was involved in. I didn't give up my dreams, my feeling. I didn't want to lose myself. I knew a big old chair on 15th floor was waiting for me with 50, $60,000. I didn't care about that because you make money by not looking for money. How you
Mm.
do that? It's the truth. It's a fact. You fact check anybody. You don't chase money and get money. It's called you in being successful. You have to have a dream. You have to have an idea. Got to say something. When I opened up Malcolm X Student Bazaar Shop, I was 21 years old. I had just graduated from Malcolm. I wrote a proposal up. I used all the PhDs that I could find in the college, in the universe, in the school to help me write my proposal up. And I submitted it. And I got the spot. I didn't get the money I asked for the $500 to start with, the seed money, but I had that money from selling my own merchandise. And then I just opened it up. I took everything that was in the school that students made, jewelry, tam, scarves, tie-dye, artistry, painters, artists, all that stuff. And I took people in the community, had stores, stuff wasn't moving as fast. I put that in it. I took everything on consignment. I put the money back into the shop, paid my own fee, and I gave money to the school, student government. that sponsored me. Now, where did I get an idea like that? Because I was a businessman. I knew how to get money. And then I had on 2,500 students. Now I got 8,000 students. How do I remember and to know the students I dealt with? Because back in the day, a lot of you don't know, we were by sign Leo, Capricorn. It's only 12 signs. So out of those students there, I learned their sign. So I knew how to approach them and deal with them. You all have so many skills, but you let people say things on the sideline, off the wall, that affects you.
Mhm.
No, 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 no. You have a brain. You got a mind. You have skills. I'm not. I'm just not happy with my Harvard grandson or my Howard's grandson and UIC and or University of Massachusetts. I'm not that. I'm happy because the one came out of Harvard. He graduated. He was in Kenwood, seventh, eighth grade program. Then he went to Whitney Young. They call him a traitor, but then he went to Whitney Young. He graduated, and he's a stand-up comedian. The other one that came from University of Southern California, he's a rapper, all on YouTube. So what I'm saying in essence is that they have more than just uh, skills academically and educating scholastically. They have something that they're passionate about, something that they love, something that they a skill they work on. I like that even better. I like them both because they have something else to fall back on if that doesn't work.
Okay. Okay. You're imparting some very important wisdom, I'm going to say, and not just call it knowledge, but wisdom. I've talked to a few people I know. I know the first time someone said to me that I know, and I'll mention his name is Larry Cherry. And Larry Cherry told me, you're not supposed to work for money. And I was like, Larry, what are you talking about? You know,
I know
you got
him
to say,
very, very well.
yeah, you know
Yeah,
Larry Cherry.
yes, very, very well. The businessman.
Okay,
He's younger
absolutely.
than me. He
That's
came
right.
out right behind me, but
That's right.
and interceded with me. But I know him very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very
Hmm.
well. Yeah, good businessman, good
Yeah.
business sense. But this is what you're dealing from your heart and your mind when you
Mm-hmm.
want to deal with business. People have the wrong conception of how to make money in business and all those things. Not only you be a businessman, I taught it through my actions. Here
Mm-hmm.
I'm up in Malcolm X College. I ain't paying no light, no gas, no rent, and no taxes. Other students see me. I stayed on doing my business and stuff so students could see me with the day students and with the night students so they could see how this thing is done. Some people you can help and tell different information, and then some you can't because they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to deal with it. They don't have the right mindset.
That's right.
It's an investment that you put in these young people. It's an investment. I never discussed me becoming a Muslim when I was 19. And hell, this year, if God bless me, I'll be 77 years old. You know, uh, uh, I never discussed Islam with nobody. I showed them what I was about. Never discussed it, never said. If they asked me, I would. But other than that, never said nothing. I just put them under my wings and showed them how to get money. How to, even when I was in the neighborhood, and even though I had that degree in elementary education, I would go into all the different 15 stirs off of Ashland, Jane Addams, all the Jewtown, all the kids. They worked up under me. I meet them at Saturday and Sunday when school was out, and I'd show them how to make money. Take back 20 cents, give them a quarter off of each dollar. Teaching them timetables, teaching them how to count. Don't tell nobody else how much you're making, because they'll take it from you. I don't care who it is. Mama, to pay an electric bill, I don't care what it is. Children, I knew that I was a project kid myself. I knew how this thing goes. I had the
Let me
girls
ask you a
and boys.
question. Let me ask you a
Yes,
question.
yes, yes.
Okay, I listened to what you're saying, and I think
Hmm.
about how things were. Okay, back in the 70s, or maybe earlier.
Drugs, drugs. That's what got them.
And
Drugs.
then you
That's
asked
the
me what.
reason I was coming to that thing. What was happening is that I had the kids working for me, and I kept the boys and the girls and everything. I seen the ones who went astray, the ones who went straight. They took all kind of positions. I see them all over the city. What happened was that When my boys got around about 13, 14 years old and interested in girls, that $5 and $10 wasn't working no more because they started drinking alcohol and smoking reefer and chasing little girls. Now I started losing them. That didn't make me feel great. They were just coming to be freshmen in high school. And they was getting themselves twisted around. All my work to teach them the finance, that was great and good. I ended up going teaching grammar school, going
Mhm.
to kindergarten, preschool, first grade, second, third. Never had fourth, but fifth was my favorite grade to teach. I could reach them, I could deal with them. But like I said again, and I knew that the kids on the weekends, their mother and father wasn't home. They go out Friday night. I knew this. Then they come back Sunday morning or Saturday morning, drunk, high, and the kids are out there trying to fend for themselves. So I said, wow, me out here working with them, teaching about money. And I said, that's one thing, but I need to go in there where it starts at the root. I need to get down there with the little ones. And that's I became the community rep for the local school council. I worked at John M. Smith, Medill, Reese, and Jefferson. That's community rep. I stopped teaching. And that consisted and we had more power during that time, dealing with the students and going to all the classrooms, just being self-contained in one class. I even taught at the mosque, 7351 Stony Island. I taught class there. So, it's getting in deep to do what has to be done. We got eyes in our heads. We know right from wrong.
Mhm.
Knowing right from wrong and doing right from wrong was two different things. Making a sacrifice, not just no conversation. I knew what I was doing. When I said when I was raising my children, I didn't have no job. I didn't go to no work. I didn't get up from no 8 to 7 in my life. I didn't start do CTA until 86 to June the 9th of 86. Chicago Police January 87. And the fire department August the 3rd of 87. Prior to that, the only thing I ever done in my life was teach school and had to shop. So I'm saying that's just my path. Young folks that are listening here, you have your own path. You have your own passion. This is passion to me then as well as it's passion to me now. Just helping to change the Malcolm X College, all the titles they have given me, for no matter what it has been. I was 30 years as being president of the Alumni Association for Malcolm X. They send Dan Davis, everybody on the West Side know him who played basketball for Crane. Crane and Marshall, they dominated in basketball. Harrison was good, Ferguson was good. The South Side didn't win a basketball game until 1961 with Cassie Russell. That didn't. All the others when it came later, many in the 80s and 90s and stuff. But here you turn right around the West Side, you got Whitney Young. I had two of them graduate. The girl that's 29, August the 29th, granddaughter came from there. That's from Stanford, and the boy from Harvard, who's 23, June 8th, just made it this year, last year. They
So
all they dominated basketball from Whitney Young. That's all I was trying to say. Continue.
what do you say to young people today? Many of them are graduating from college um,
Mm-hmm.
and not able to get jobs. Then you have the issue in terms of what has happened in our public schools, where many of our children have not gotten. I would say, even myself, coming up through Chicago public schools, I
Me
got a
too.
well-rounded education.
Okay.
I had everything, the
Mm-hmm.
math, the sciences, the geography. I had art. I had music. I had a well-rounded education. We had science fairs. You
That's
would
correct.
hardly even hear about schools, having science fairs and anymore. And so, with the hand that our young people are dealt with today,
Mm-hmm.
what words of wisdom can you give them to move forward? You already talked about the telling them how brilliant they are, that they are.
Oh, yeah,
You
no doubt about it.
you've
No doubt
already
about it.
you've already talked about this. You've already talked about fear, and how that impacts us. And you've
Yeah.
talked about your story and how you made it.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
but
Oh
they've
yeah.
got a different hand that they're being dealt today. And everybody is not going to go to Stanford and get an opportunity to go to
Right.
Howard and so on and
Hmm.
so forth. You got people down here.
I I
Uh,
didn't go to those universities. I went to a junior college. I took a
mhm.
crawl. I went to and I made an impact where I was at.
But you got students coming out of college now owing 50, $100,000,
Hmm.
$150,000,
Hmm.
um, and they can't get jobs, and they
What
can't get they can't get loans and resources from these banks to start up businesses, especially in our community.
But the thing of it is, and just like you said, that's very, very true. But you cannot give up. One of the major things since I was a little boy, all the way into my adulthood, I always trusted in God.
Mhm.
I didn't give a damn what everybody had to say, no president, principal. I don't care who you're talking about. God is my leadership. He makes things possible that seems impossible. And what separates a person is fear, as I was saying once before.
Mhm.
Fear is another sense of worship. When you fear something, you worship it. Nothing is deserved by fear but God, whatever name or terminology you want to call it, because that takes the yoke off of you. That's why I accepted Islam, because the very first thing that it separates you and get off of you is fear. You can't do nothing with your hands tied and your head bowed down. No, you have to believe in yourself, trust in yourself. And how do your people listen to you about what you want to do? When I was talking about the different colleges and school, education, reading, studying. Don't let anybody explain this and explain to you, Jesus is God. Hmm. If Jesus was God, why was he crying to his daddy all the time? Father, Father, take away this bitter cup. Father, Father, why have thou forsaken me? And what did he say, John 8, chapter 8, verse 44? Don't call me good. None's good but the Father. Neither did I come on my own, but he sent me. Those is in the Bible. It's what's hard to understand that. And didn't he tell you what color he was and who your enemies were? Say you are your father, the devil, and the lust of your father you do. He was a murderer from the very beginning. He abhorred not in the truth because there's no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, and he's the father of it. Now, who baptized Jesus? God need to be baptized, or did John do that? I can go on and on and on, but that's not the dialogue I'm trying to deal with right now. I'm only saying to give you an example of how to read and check. Look at the president you got. The first thing he scream out all the time is fake news, fake news. That he didn't supposed to be coming as a politician, but he came to president because he does his own thing to any kind of way he wants to do it. You can talk all you want to say about him. Yeah, he's the devil. He's on a lot of crap, but he's calling shots and getting away with it.
Mhm.
You can't get away with it. I ain't paying no taxes all that time. They finally came to me 3, 4 years ago, talking about what they call that word? Checking me out, whatever they called it. And I went down there, everything turned out fine. But all that stuff
Well,
was
doing
done.
doing the audit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they call it, but they didn't call it an audit. They told me they places they had the sickness was going on and stuff. And there's a word that even though working with the CTA, fire department, police, and teaching school, I had never heard that word. That's hard for me to keep to remember it. But that's what they wanted to do, just to check me out. They called it. Oh, mm, I'm so close to that word, but anyway, this is words they said that they was checking me out. Uh, uh, um, uh, randomly. That's the word.
Oh.
And you do you randomly fall in a girlfriend? Do you randomly have a job? No. Neighbors talking about I own 74, 30, 34, and 36. I got the Lexus trucks, got the GX 470, 2008, 2000, sitting there, and I ain't never rented in my life because I never paid rent. So somebody didn't call them and whatever it was during COVID, and I said, well, why I didn't get my taxes back? We. I said, why didn't you tell me? Well, we randomly checking you, huh? Well, we was closed down to November, July the 12th. So the October the 1st, we need you to come down. I was down there about 20 minutes. But none, they had nothing. We were checking to find out what you sent off for your taxes was the same thing that your tax people sent in. So everything's fine. Now I can't get a regular tax paper back. They got to write me one up and send me in the mail. I almost tore it up because I didn't know what it was. But I'm saying
Mhm.
the game is game. That's what all you ever heard Dick Gregory say. The games. And then the type of people that you hang with and you get with. You get with people that's successful. You get with people that knows. My baby boy, what's the one? He's 50 now. He went to jail for 20 years. At 16 years old, I had him as a lifeguard for the city. He got with his friends, 17 years old, and got in trouble. I did what I could do for him. I talked to him before went to jail. I told him, son, you're comparing yourself with bombs. They call you an intelligent gangster. But guess what? God again. He came home doing taxes. He worked in the law library. He graduated from Lewis University in Joliet. Like I was saying, the big boy came out of DePaul, the middle one, master degree from Columbia College. They all come from out the block. They come out the neighborhood. But they had a father that's there. They ain't gonna give up. Hey man, you do the crime, you should do the time. He making $300,000 a year right now. Lives in Naperville with the October the 7th girl that's 9 and the November 12th girl that's 10. Yeah. With a wife with a PhD who came to visit him all the time. So what I said all that stuff, that God sits in that. He went to Mecca. He's a Muslim. He went to Mecca in 2019. Yeah. Did everything he wanted to do. He said, Daddy, when he came home, he said, two things I want to do, Daddy. I want to get married and I want to go to the Holy Land. I want to go to Mecca. He's done that. He's taking care of his business. He got his children going to private school out there in Muslim school in Naperville. He's got a life. But I never gave up on him. I never stopped loving him. I never stopped trying to work with him. That's why I tell the older people, we dropped the ball. These kids didn't come from Russia. They didn't come out of Japan. They come out your damn basement, out your house. You make the sacrifice and do what needs to be done. You already know what you got to do for your child. Only ones go up to school to see about the children that are having problems. No parents go up there to school.
Mhm.
I know it's hard with the light, the gas, the water. I've been paying it for 50 years. When I bought my house, it cost me $16,900 at 9% interest. I didn't have no job. I hustled. Now I'm in the house 50 years now. A
Well,
building 30 right next door. Yeah, uh-huh.
something else you talked about in our conversations, off
Mm-hmm.
the air, was the level of unity that we had. How you came together, you studied together, you helped each other out,
That's
and
how it
that's
was.
something that has been
That's
fragmented.
but you know what that is? Ho ho ho. That's love.
Hmm.
That is love.
Hmm.
Now, when a CTA person working, the post office working, a fireman working, the police is working, we bonded with one another. When we came in, it was brother and sister. We gave each other a hug. We had dialogue. Some was poets, some was artists, and all different backgrounds. So what did we do? We shared. I remember when I was teaching grammar school, and I used to do the same thing in my classroom, teaching them how to take newspapers and put it all around the room for them to study and learn their timetables and say, you got a family of six or a family of four. Get the
Hmm.
bread, get the eggs, get the milk, put it together. And the girls was sewing. And then we had breakfast for children program for these kids. When I was teaching class, kids would come in there from second and third grade making their own peanut butter and jelly sandwich all tore up. You have to have a love for your people. You got to have a concern for them. You got to have love more. See, that's all come back to being selfless. You got to give. You give, and you guess what happened? You get. These are mathematical facts. You have to give and sacrifice. And like I said again, I knew what I was doing. I knew I said if I ever had a platform, and what does they a platform to talk? Because your people will not listen to you unless you educate them. I learned that real young. They're not listening to no dummy. They're not hitting to tell them this to a person that's not an intellectual or don't have any experience. You have to show yourself approval and step up to the plate and do what has to be done. Drugs is what messed up our people. In 1969, I remember because I was in the streets. I was selling in the projects all night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I used to sell that late at night because the people respected me and loved me, and they seen what I was doing with their children. Irregardless if they wanted to stick me up or do something to me, never ever happened. I ain't said it didn't come across their mind 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning getting them food stamp money, but I would never let them again. I would never exploit them. If I went into a household, they couldn't spend no more than $100 with me, $50 with me. I had other apartments to go to. Yeah, there's business ethics. What happened to that? Business ethics. Have you ever heard of that
Mhm.
before? That's what they're clowning with Trump with now. His business ethics. That's you doing business. You gotta have some kind of ethics. What you're doing, what you won't do, how far
That
you're
was
going, how
that
far you
was
won't go.
that was black excellence too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, 100%. That's what was taught at Malcolm X College. That's what was on the windows in 1971. Black excellence. Before we had Kwanzaa started, before we had Black History, we had that written on there, and all our students, they we excel, and we wanted everybody else to excel, and that's the way we operated.
We
I
got
hated
we
when,
got
yeah, I hated when,
we got fragmented,
yes,
and now it's
systematically on
yeah, yeah.
done purposely. That's why I
Mhm.
spend all my waking time and hours of working with them and encouraging them. Older people, you have to encourage your children and your grandkids. You have to encourage them. It's easy to dog somebody else and put them down. What about giving them some jewels, some knowledge, some information, some support? I'm happy the way that I turned out. But if I had got support from the community, and in actuality, I did get support. I got support from the college. When security used to come try to find where I was at, the engineers, the janitors, the teachers, the faculty, the staff, they say looking for you, Hood. I go disappear, go off into some place, come right back and continue my business. I did. I would never stay on staff because I never make enough money on staff. I working for myself, you make more money. You work more hours. It's a little tougher, but boy, is it worth it. Oh, it is worth it so much because you find out who you are. First, find out who you are, then be who you are. Get the knowledge and information, what makes you float and what makes your boat float. Then be that person. And all the time, you're constantly changing and learning as you go. It makes a good human being out of you. And then you make a better human being with the rest of your family. I didn't push this, my religion and my way of life on my brothers and sisters. My mother went to Malcolm, graduated straight A student. Yeah. And then working at Lindblom, come down Ashland bus and go up to Malcolm, got in the library, boom, did what she had to do. And when I became successful as a businessman at 21 years old, the first thing the big boys used to ask me, uh, who's your mother? Who's your father? I'm saying to myself, as hard as I work, I'm a, who my mother, who my father. I didn't know. I had no idea. It didn't take long to figure it out that I had great parents, but I didn't know. I'm saying I'm working hard, but it was okay. I recognized it. My mother and father were both 15 years old, 35th in the army there. My father put his age up to go into the military, but my mother was a brilliant student. And I gave her an opportunity. I graduated in 71, May 11. My mother graduated in 1978. When they honored her and all this kind of stuff and put her name on the wall as best teacher, best student in the school, she said, "Son, let somebody else win that award." I said, "Mama, you did all this stuff. No, I'm gonna put your name on the list." And she won. But apples don't fall too far from the tree, irregardless of what you want to say and do. There you go again. Hell, I didn't learn how to read till I was in seventh grade. I just told it to grammar school, the kindergarten teacher today. I said, I didn't come to school to learn. She said, well, what? What? They look at me crazy at the fire department, CJ. I said, no, I came to see my damn friends. Because
Mm.
women are 5 years stronger than faster than boys. I didn't have no big brothers. I came to see my friends. I take candy, get penny candy, two for $1 penny, and throw it around the classroom for friends. I do that still today, right now. When I used to go to teach a class, I used to give a quarter. People to learn their timetables, $10 worth of quarter. Because once you got the timetables, you got them for life.
True.
You want the kids to just go by what you're talking about, but you work for getting money. Why can't they get paid? Huh? You ain't asked them to go in the backyard and chop a tree down. No, they have a job and a responsibility. You can't have anything without discipline. I don't care what it is. You must start with discipline. If you can learn one discipline now, all the other disciplines you can easily learn. But you got to be able to discipline one thing. They give all them, took all the social workers out of the classrooms, truant officers out the
The truant
classroom.
officers, they took the
Yeah,
truant officers out.
guess
Yeah.
who my truant officer was? Bobby Wright was my seventh grade truant officer. Bobby Wright.
And
I
that was
can
the
name,
school's connection to the
yeah,
home, the truant
yeah.
officer.
Came and got me, changed my life.
Yeah.
Guess who my seventh grade teacher was who failed me? James Compton, 30 years over the Urban League. I see him now in Hart Park now. When I started moving up the ladder and going further and further, all those teachers that I had, I went back to my gym teacher who became the principal at the school. I asked myself, what was different about me when I was in school? Because I fastest runner, just throw the ball, jump, and all that. He said, Alan, you had character.
Hmm.
Character. It's the word he said. I didn't go into no high definition with him. I just heard what he had to say. Because I used to give them all hell, not lightweight hell. Why you think I love these kids so much? Because I understand. When you love something, you get an understanding. They don't
Why
pass
was
you by.
it
Not yes.
why was
Mm-hmm.
it so important for you to reinstitute Kwanzaa and have it coming back in its full seven days? Why was
Well,
that important?
Ron Karinga did it in 1966 when he started it. And they did that to take the place of somewhat of Christmas. And I enjoyed it. It was great. It was good. And at 2015, like I said, they hadn't had it. The president of the college, uh, who's the president right now, David Anderson, he wanted to reward the people that helped change it from Crane Junior College to Malcolm X. He had a black and white tie, the outfit you see I had on in 2016. All the faculty, the staff, the Earth, Wind, and Fire, they went to Crane High School. They studied at Malcolm X College in 1969 in the music department. Just so many that came through the college. The Globetrotters we had there in 71, 72 in a new building. All the basketball guys who played basketball in different places. Uh, uh, Isaiah Thomas, Mark Aguirre, Terry Cummings, all of them used to come to Malcolm in 71, 72. Before UIC got him, before Chicago State got him, before Roosevelt, Racine, the YMCA got him, before all of them got him. They were at Malcolm first. And it made a big difference for the young people to be assessed with successful people that played the ball. With Kwanzaa, uh, the African garments we wear, do you know? And I'm tell you this, I defy anybody to tell me something different. Do you know in 71, when I opened my Africa's dashikis and clothes and all that different things, coming from Senegal, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Nigeria, all those different places, jewelry and everything, that blacks, if they had a dashiki, they got it from Sears. Okay. They didn't black, no, nothing culture did they deal with. Now, today, every place in the city of Chicago and across the country, the fourth Sunday, they dress Afrocentric. They weren't doing that before. That's why I was talking about putting your foot in the door and making things happen, having
Mhm.
something that you believed in and go after it. So I didn't know all that much about Kwanzaa when I asked them to do that. I got a lady named Najwa, who we graduated from University of Mass together. We went to Malcolm together, and a guy named Maurice Roberts, and for all those two only two people that when the president gave me uh, uh, the situation to deal with in the Kwanzaa, those are the only two people I recruited because I trusted them. I knew they weren't there for the money. That's why I was telling you about teaching people about how to make money. If they got the wrong attitude, the wrong mindset, I don't care what business you got. You don't mind giving your business to somebody that love it and trust and believe in it like you do. You're not turning your legacy over to somebody that's an idiot. You're not leaving your property and your buildings and your whatever you got to nobody that's an idiot. Or yet to a dope fiend, to an alcoholic. It ain't gonna work.
I
It,
know
it, it ain't
when
gonna work.
I used to come to Kwanzaa.
Mm-hmm.
It was at Malcolm X, and we had the culminating activity there with the dancers, and
Oh,
wonderful,
beautiful,
wonderful
beautiful,
entertainment at the end.
beautiful.
But all of the
Yes,
vendors that would be there, and the what they had to sell was of value,
true.
and I so enjoyed, having that opportunity and that experience to be there, and to buy. And I developed a lot of friendships over the years.
That's where
So it
you
was
and I met at.
definitely a great community experience. And
Oh
but
yeah.
at the same time, those principles of Kwanzaa,
Oh, so important.
very important, very important. And I'm hoping that, in the years to come, that there's a greater emphasis placed on those principles. I know they talk about them each day, but these are principles that we can carry on 365 days a year if we
You
practice
internalize them. You
these principles.
internalize them. You
Yes.
internalize them.
So we
That and
find
I don't.
ways to do
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
We,
that's
we,
where the
we,
problem
we
come
have
in.
2 minutes. We have 2 minutes.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we
Thank
have
you.
we have 2 minutes. And so I'm
Okay.
definitely gonna let you have the final words, because family, we have been talking to Alan Hood, um, who is a historic he's you are his an historian, and he is also an alumni, a member of the first graduating class of Malcolm X College, and you are now an ambassador of Malcolm X College. You're still supporting this university after since 1970.
58.
Oh, since
58
1958.
years. 50,
Right.
58 years I've been there. Yeah,
Okay.
58 years. Just make 58 years for me.
Okay, before it actually became Malcolm X College, you've been
Correct.
support.
That's 58 makes 1968. We that changed
Right,
1969 in January.
right.
Yeah.
And you also were very instrumental in, reinstituting Kwanzaa. They did have it all 7 days,
That was a
and
beautiful thing.
and it was a beautiful thing. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's where I met you. And so I'm going to give you the
Correct.
final words here, on our show, uh, that you would like to give to our audience.
Well, one of the most important things I wanted to say is that right now, I'm almost sure, it's probably 50-50 with blacks at Malcolm X College now. We got a lot of
Mhm,
Hispanics, a lot of Filipinos, a lot of Indians, and I have no problem with that. Like I said, from my conception of Malcolm X College, we've
mhm,
always had them there. Not as many, but you're right there across the medical center, Malcolm X College. That's a $220 million building now. It's a great place for a young person who can't go off to a university to go to a junior college and get started. I was admission counselor. I registered students in there that was 19 years old, and the ones who hadn't got out of high school. I got them from the St. Mary's Alternative High School for pregnant women, and register them in the school, and along with that, register them in the Malcolm X College at the same time. Why? Because at 19 years old, you can go to any college in the United States. Can't graduate it till you get your high school diploma, but you definitely can go and pick up English and math and different courses. So don't give up. Don't feel bad. Don't do about yourself. Try. Focus on trying, and always keep God in front of you, because He's got your back when everybody else you don't think got you. He's definitely got you.
Are they
You take one,
actively
yes.
are they actively recruiting for more black
And see,
students?
that's what I was saying. That things have changed. Yes, they recruiting, and they got all kind of programs. They're taking them to Africa. They're paying the whole thing to go into Africa. Next year they went. This year they went. Last year they got all kind of. We had the PA program, physician assistant program. That's $100,000 starting pay. We got the EMT, emergency medical technician. We got the paramedics, the program. You got all these different programs. All these things available to you. But if I can keep you fooled that you don't matter and these things ain't gonna work for you and you don't come and try, then I've won. But you have to try. You have to step forward. You got to reach out and you'll be successful. Just reach out. Just ask. Just look. Don't give up. Depend on God, whatever you want to call them. Listen to your mother and fathers. Oh, no, no, my mother, father. Yeah, I don't care. God gave you your mother and father. You can't choose them. They ain't trying to hurt you. They love you. Go to jail and see who comes to see you. It won't be your friends. When my baby boy got in trouble, he said, Daddy, they've been in first in kindergarten with me. That's why I run with them now. I said, son, who brought you here? Oh, yeah, I got him right. I said, I hope y'all got some homeboy insurance. Yeah, keep it real with them. Be honest with your kids. Be straight with them. Say what has to be said, even though it hurts. Be there for your children. That's all I needed to say.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for all of the work that you have done over the years and for the work that you are going to continue to do.
Without a doubt. Yeah, I thank
Absolutely.
God.
Okay. Well, family and friends, I'm sure has been a very um, eye-opening, a very inspiring conversation and a commentary that we have heard from Alan Hood, and take it to heart. And as we say every week, remember to support Black businesses. Very important.
Amen.
All
Amen.
right. And I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. All right.
Thank you.